He was the rugged, silver-haired heartthrob of 1950s Hollywood, adored by millions, envied by men, and pursued by the studios. But Jeff Chandler carried a secret that could have ended everything. And decades later, he finally revealed the truth. He had a hidden romance with one of old Hollywood's most famous, and closeted, actresses. Born Ira Grossel in the gritty streets of Brooklyn, Chandler wasn't born into fame. He was forged by ambition. From a working-class Jewish family, he rose from radio stages to the silver screen. But while the world saw a leading man, behind the scenes, Jeff was navigating a double life, one filled with passion, fear, and the unspoken rules of a scandal-obsessed industry. Like many young men of his generation, Jeff Chandler answered the call of duty and served in World War II, stationed in the unforgiving terrain of the Aleutian Islands. That experience didn't just shape his discipline, it ignited an unshakable drive to pursue something greater. When he returned home, Chandler set his sights on the entertainment world. With a voice that could command any room, he quickly became a staple on radio, starring in dramatic broadcasts where his presence was felt even without a screen. But Chandler wasn't built for just sound waves. After years of grinding through stage roles and low-budget films, everything changed in 1949. He landed the role of a lifetime, playing the Apache leader Cochise in Broken Arrow opposite James Stewart. It was more than a performance, it was a breakthrough. The role earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor and catapulted him into Hollywood stardom. Overnight, Jeff Chandler became a name every American household knew, and a face the studios couldn't get enough of. Jeff Chandler's portrayal of Cochise wasn't just a career milestone, it was a cultural shift. At a time when Hollywood routinely reduced Native Americans to stereotypes, Chandler brought humanity, dignity, and depth to the role. His performance helped audiences see a people so often misrepresented through a lens of respect and empathy. He would return to the character in The Battle at Apache Pass, 1952, and Taza, Son of Cochise, 1954, further solidifying his reputation as an actor unafraid to challenge convention and portray complex ethnic roles with integrity. The 1950s became Chandler's golden era. Film after film, he delivered memorable performances, whether as war heroes, rugged adventurers, or men torn between duty and desire. Hits like Merrill's Marauders, Smuggler's Island, Yankee Buccaneer, Foxfire, and Away All Boats showcased not only his versatility but his magnetic presence on screen. He shared the spotlight with Hollywood legends like Jane Russell, Joan Crawford, Maureen O'Hara, and Rhonda Fleming, yet he never got lost in the glow. Off-screen, Chandler was known for his professionalism and grace, a man who elevated every set he stepped on. And while his singing career never reached the same heights, his smooth baritone voice captured hearts across America, adding another layer to a star whose legacy was more than just film, it was character, both on and off screen. Jeff Chandler wasn't just a movie star, he was a true entertainer. His charm and charisma extended far beyond the film set, regularly captivating audiences on television variety shows and lighting up nightclubs with his magnetic presence. He wasn't content to just play roles, he wanted to shape them. As one of the early Hollywood actors to step into film production, Chandler sought greater creative control, determined to tell stories that mattered on his terms. In 1946, during the hopeful years following World War II, Chandler married actress Marjorie Hachelle, a union that seemed to embody the American dream. Both ambitious and deeply immersed in the world of performance, their shared passion for the arts brought them together in what many viewed as the perfect post-war Hollywood love story. Their marriage was more than a headline, it symbolized the era's ideals of glamour, unity, and a promising future in a rapidly evolving entertainment landscape. After settling into married life, they eventually had 2 daughters. Dana Grakel was born in 1949, while Jamie Tucker was born in 1947. Chandler was born Ira Grossel, and his daughter Dana kept the last name that connected her to her father's side of the family. Chandler made an effort to uphold his role as a loving parent in spite of the pressures of his acting career, and friends frequently characterized him as being extremely loving toward his children, whom he adored. But his personal life would soon suffer as a result of his ever-increasing workload and the demands of celebrity. His marriage to Hachelle started to suffer throughout the 1950s as a result of Hollywood's unrelenting attention as Chandler's career took off and he became one of Universal Pictures' most bankable stars. Extended separations brought on the movie productions and escalating interpersonal conflicts. According to some sources, the couple's relationship veered between reconciliation and disagreement throughout the years, and reports surfaced of their repeated separations. Actress and renowned competitive swimmer Esther Williams, one of MGM's biggest stars for her aquatic musicals and statuesque beauty, fell in love with Chandler in 1957. A public sensation resulted from their relationship, which was scrutinized by the Hollywood press. Following her recent divorce from actor Fernando Lamas, Williams' romance with Chandler made headlines for both of them. Williams and Chandler were frequently spotted together at social events and public gatherings, and their courtship was perceived as intense, albeit sometimes tumultuous. Chandler's already precarious marriage was said to have suffered a last blow as a result of this widely reported incident. Marjorie Hosell sought for divorce because she felt emotionally and humiliated by her husband's new connection. The decision to formally dissolve their marriage was not made until the aftermath of the Williams affair, despite the fact that they had already separated. Although the divorce process took a while to complete, their union was officially dissolved in 1959. Their marital dissolution was viewed as yet another illustration of the enormous personal costs that celebrities frequently incur. Chandler was said to have had brief but noteworthy relationships with other prominent actresses of the day in addition to his romance with Esther Williams. Among them was Gloria DeHaven, a stunning and vibrant actress best known for her parts in romantic dramas and light musicals. DeHaven was accustomed to Hollywood romances, having been married and divorced twice. Although the specifics of her relationship with Chandler are still mostly unknown, the fact that they were frequently spotted together led gossip columnists to speculate that they might be romantically involved. The feisty and gifted and Sheridan, known as the oomph girl due to her seductive appeal and on-screen persona, was also associated with Chandler. Sheridan was known for being strong-willed and independent, and her alleged affair with Chandler only served to enhance his reputation as a lovely leading man who attracted some of the most desirable ladies of the time. Jeff Chandler's personal life was much more complicated than his public character as a trustworthy all-American man, despite his charm. It was quite difficult to juggle celebrity, demanding movie jobs, a tumultuous marriage, and romantic relationships. His romantic life frequently drifted into stormy waters, despite his reputation for professionalism and kindness on set. This underscored the frequently concealed inner volatility underlying the polished facade of Hollywood success. Hollywood's golden age saw its stars' private lives cloaked in secret, jealously guarded by the studios and publicists who put forth endless effort to keep their biggest box office draws looking flawless. This was also true of Jeff Chandler, the towering, silver-haired star who is most recognized for his tough parts in movies like Merrill's Marauders and Broken Arrow. Chandler was often associated with high-profile celebrities as one of Universal Pictures' most bankable actors in the 1950s, but his love life was more nuanced than fan magazines ever revealed. According to a close confidant, Chandler allegedly disclosed in an unpublished, candid conversation that he had a discreet but intensely emotional romantic relationship with renowned actress Barbara Stanwyck during the height of his fame. It has long been rumored that Stanwyck had relationships with both men and women behind her meticulously crafted facade. Of her rugged, self-reliant on-screen image. According to reports, Chandler appreciated Stanwyck's strength and emotional intelligence in addition to her skill and on-screen persona. With iconic roles in movies like Stella Dallas, Double Indemnity, and Sorry, Wrong Number, she had been a big star since the 1930s. She was extremely discreet off-screen, particularly when it came to her personal relationships. Despite her early marriage to actor Robert Taylor, many Hollywood insiders thought the studio had arranged their nuptials to minimize ongoing allegations over Stanwyck's sexual orientation. Chandler revealed in private that the two celebrities first connected at a dinner party thrown by a mutual acquaintance in the late 1940s. They clicked right away. Known for his charm and chivalrous manner, Chandler was attracted to Stanwyck's tough appearance and the tenderness she kept well hidden from the world. Despite their acute awareness of the difficulties of making their connection public, what started out as a friendship quickly grew passionate. Chandler reportedly stated that Barbara was not readily trusted. "She gave you everything, though, after she did. Devotion, affection, and wisdom. I never wanted to save her, and she didn't need saving. All I wanted was to be close to her in order to comprehend her." Their romance developed discreetly, away from the prying eyes of gossip columnists and tabloids. They would frequently get together in secret places, evading scrutiny with aliases and rear entrances. Chandler asserted that they shared a deep emotional intimacy and a respect for one another. Stanwyck had constructed a stronghold around her private life, and Chandler, who was aware of the demands of celebrity, honored her desires, even though she was adamant that the connection never be made public. Despite their closeness, the relationship ended because both of them realized how unstable the arrangement was, not because of scandal or treachery. Stanwyck, who had already endured decades in the spotlight, was cautious about opening herself up to more inquiries and conjecture, while Chandler's burgeoning reputation meant greater scrutiny. Nevertheless, Chandler was said to have had a strong attachment for her till his passing and to have called her the only lady who knew the man who was the actor. A few elderly Hollywood insiders have told the tale of Jeff Chandler's covert affair with Barbara Stanwyck, despite it never being formally verified. Whispered among those who recognized the need to conceal a great deal in a picture-obsessed industry. In a period when the truth was frequently the most perilous story of all, Chandler's identification of her as the lady he secretly dated was not only a revelation but also a tribute to a woman he respected, adored, and secretly loved. In early 1961, Jeff Chandler was immersed in the demanding role of Brigadier General Frank D. Mariel while filming the war drama Merrill's Marauders on location in the Philippines. He also engaged in off-screen bonding activities with the real-life U.S. Army Special Forces troops who were acting as extras in the movie. On April 15, 1961, one such activity, a friendly but intense game of baseball, turned out to be terribly disastrous. Chandler suffered a back injury during the game, which would shortly set off a series of medical occurrences that would finally claim his life. Initially, standard pain management was used to treat the injuries. In order to fulfill his obligations on the movie, he was given injections to dull the severe pain. Chandler persevered through the remaining scenes, hiding the growing anguish from the audience and his fellow actors, displaying his renowned professionalism and dedication to his job. But the damage was more severe than first thought. His illness deteriorated after he returned to the United States, and on May 13, 1961, he was admitted to a hospital in Culver City, California. Chandler had surgery to remove the pressure on his spine after being diagnosed with a herniated spinal disc, a disease that resulted in significant nerve compression and ongoing pain. But what was supposed to be a standard medical procedure swiftly took a disastrous turn. An artery was accidentally cut during the procedure, which resulted in serious internal bleeding. His condition quickly worsened, and only 4 days later, on May 17, physicians had to undergo a second emergency operation. Chandler needed an incredible 55 pints of blood during this 7.5-hour treatment in an effort to stabilize him and repair the significant vascular damage. Notwithstanding these heroic scientific efforts, his body remained in essential situation. As he lingered in a health facility, suffering towards mounting headaches, medical doctors tried a third operation on May 27, hoping to stave off similarly infection and stabilize his circumstance. This system necessitated a further 20 pints of blood. Lamentably, these tries to shop him had been useless. Chandler's immune machine became crushed. He advanced an intense blood contamination, sepsis, which was further compounded via pneumonia. On June 17, 1961, simply 43 years old, Jeff Chandler passed away. His loss of life greatly surprised the general public and devastated fanatics who widespread his work and on-display screen charisma. On the time of his premature loss of life, Chandler changed into romantically concerned with British actress Barbara Shelley, a growing megastar in British cinema regarded for her roles in Hammer horror films. Their relationship, even though particularly new, were critical enough that buddies and insiders speculated at the possibility of a future engagement. Chandler's death robbed Shelley of a man she described as deeply type and passionate. Even as Hollywood misplaced certainly one of its most reputable and bankable stars, Chandler's funeral drew an outpouring of grief from the enjoyment community and his committed lovers. Held in L.A., the service changed into attended through greater than 1,500 mourners, underscoring the intensity of affection and respect he had garnered during his profession. Most of the pallbearers had been fellow actors Tony Curtis and Gerald Moore, both non-public pals who had prominent Chandler no longer only for his skills however for his integrity and beneficent spirit. He became laid to relaxation at Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery in Culver Metropolis, California, a burial web page known as the very last resting region of many superb Jewish entertainers. Inside the wake of Chandler's tragic passing, questions arose regarding the circumstances of his scientific treatment. An investigation concluded that Chandler's demise had resulted, at the least in element, from medical malpractice. Allegedly, the arterial harm sustained at some stage in his initial surgical operation and the inadequate reaction to subsequent headaches constituted a breach within the widespread of care. Chandler's daughters, Jamie Tucker and Dana Grakel, via prison representatives, filed a lawsuit against each the clinic and the attending physicians searching for $1.5 million in damages for wrongful demise and negligence. After prolonged felony court cases, the lawsuit turned into ultimately settled out-of-court docket for $233,258. As is often the case with such settlements, the agreement covered a joint statement wherein all parties, Chandler's circle of relatives, the health facility, and the medical doctors, affirmed that no legal fault or legal responsibility have been formally admitted. Nonetheless, the tragic collection of errors served as a cautionary story approximately the risks of habitual surgeries and the fragility of even the most energetic lives. At the time of his loss of life, Jeff Chandler's estate was worth approximately $600,000, a massive sum for the technology, reflecting his successful movie profession and sound monetary planning. He left everything of his property to his two daughters, making sure that they could be furnished for notwithstanding the sudden loss of their father. However, complications arose while his ex-wife Marjorie Hosell, whom he had married in 1946 and divorced in 1959, sued the estate for $80,000. She claimed the quantity turned into owed to her beneath the phrases in their divorce settlement, including any other layer of criminal turmoil to the circle of relatives as grief. Despite the sorrow surrounding his death, Jeff Chandler's legacy in Hollywood stays cozy. For his contributions to the movie enterprise, which includes memorable roles in Broken Arrow, Flame of Arab, and Merrill's Marauders, he changed into commemorated with a celebrity at the Hollywood Walk of Reputation. His star, placed at 1770 Vine Street, is still an area in which fanatics depart flora and tributes, remembering a performer who mixed rugged masculinity with quiet sensitivity and whose profession became cut quick far too quickly.